Here you can see our application is live, but we have an issue in the project. So if I click on that, you can see the CSS is not working, and this is the exact problem one of you guys have shared with me in the email. So this is the exact problem. The CSS is not working, but the application functionality is working absolutely fine, and I'll tell you how you can fix that one. That's a very easy. So come back. Many of you have built the supply chain management project we have on the channel, and many of you have said that the CSS, the Tailwind CSS is not working in your project. I got a lot of mails, and to be honest, it's not possible for me to reply to every single mails you guys are posting, every single question which you guys are asking, because I do have work. So in this video, I'll show you that what problem you are facing in this particular case, because you can see I got a mail and that he is mentioning that his CSS is not working. All the function is working, but the CSS is not working, and that's the problem we're going to tackle in this particular video. Try to fix that problem. So what I did, I simply downloaded the zip file, or if you have coded along with me, that is absolutely fine. So this is the folder I have. I'm going to open in VS. So let me click on open, come to desktop, and I have to select the folder. So here I have this tracking folder. Click on that, and that's what I'm going to open in this. So this is the exact piece of code you will get if you have followed the complete project coding along with me, or if you download the source code. This is the exact piece of code you will have in your end. So I'm going to simply make it big, and you can see here we are into the project, and the very first thing I have to do is you will also get this git file. I'm going to simply delete that one, and we have all of this file: next, artifact, cache. This is the component, and in that we have all the component for our applications. Inside that we have the CSV file, in that we have stored all the icons. So many of you said that you guys are missed the icon, so that's there. Make sure to follow the complete project, because some of you, I have seen that you are watching a small part, you are not watching the complete video, and that's why you guys are facing an error. So this is the context, and here we have the contract. So this is the entire piece of contract we have written, and here we have the images, all the images we have used, and this is the pages, this is the public, and this is the script. This is the starter file. So if you want to start coding along with me, this is the exact starter file. In that you have provided all the icons and all, and this is the close this one. And let's come back to the package.json file. And the one thing you have to keep in mind, that when you download any project, or when you code along with me in any one of my project, and whatever packages I'm using in the project, make sure to use the exact one. Because sometime what will happen, that if you install the ether package, like if you type npm I install ether, that will install the different version. So make sure to follow the exact version which I'm using in the project, because some version can bring critical changes in the application. So that's the thing you have to keep in mind. So make sure to install all of these packages along with the same version. You can see, and this is the most important part, because we are using Tailwind CSS in the project, and we have to do a couple of configuration. So that looks pretty fine, and I will show you the problem which you guys have faced. And if I come back to here in Tailwind CSS, and here we have to do the configuration, and here we have to do some important configuration if we want to use Tailwind CSS properly in our application. So that's what we're going to do. Recently I will show you that what problem we have in this configuration. So it looks pretty fine to me. Now come back here in hardhat config file. So right now we're going to test the contract locally, and I will also show you that how you can deploy the contract to the Polygon test network, and what are the configuration you have to do. So this looks pretty fine, no issues we have here, and this is the exact thing you will get if you will follow the complete video which we have used, which we have built. Okay, that's pretty good to me. Now what I will do, I'll simply open the terminal, and I have to simply install the package. Type npm I, and this will install all the packages we have in the project. So just wait, let the installation is completed. And this is the Tailwind CSS poster, autofixer, nomic foundation, web3 model. And some of you said that web3 model is not working, but it's working absolutely fine. You have to use the same version. If you use other version, because right now web3 is getting depreciated, so if you don't use this particular version, it's not going to work. And here we have installed all the packages. Let me clear the terminal, and now what I will do is I will simply start the application. So let me type npm run dev, and this will start the application on localhost 3000. And if I come here in the browser, if I click on this localhost, you can see every single thing is working fine in my end. And if you follow the exact step which I have done, it will work fine in your end as well. Things are looking good, no more error I have in the code. If I click on this connect wallet, you can open the MetaMask, and you can simply connect your application. You can see here we are connected with our wallet. And if I come back to the MetaMask, you can see right now we have to change our network, because we are testing the contract locally, then we'll move to the Polygon. So let's come to the localhost, and here things looks pretty good. In your case, it might take a little bit time, but in my case, it's happened quickly, because when you will change the network without deploying the contract, that can cause the issue. But in my end, everything's working fine. So if I come back, so what I can do is, let's come back to the VS Code, and things are looking pretty good. So we have no issues in the packages. We have installed everything beautifully. Now what I will do is, let's come back here and let's delete all the artifact and the cache, because we're going to deploy the contract once again locally, and we're going to generate the artifact and the ABI of the contract, and then we're going to use that one. So let me delete this one artifact and delete the cache. So that's pretty fine. And if I come to the context, here we have the JSON file, and that's what we have to delete. Delete this one. Make sure to follow the exact step which I'm showing you guys. If you guys haven't watched the complete project, it's not going to make any sense to all of you guys. So I would insist you to follow the complete project and code along with me. If come to the contract, this looks good. Let's open up the terminal, stop the application from running. And what I will do is come here, bring it up. Let's split the terminal and we'll type npx hardhat node. This will start the local blockchain, the internal node in your computer, which you can utilize to test your contract. And I repeated this n number of times. So we have all these 20 plus account which you can import in your MetaMask, and you can simply test the contract. So let's come here, let's deploy the contract. So this is the exact piece of command we have to type: npx hardhat run network localhost, and then you have to define the location of your contract deployed script, which is inside the script /deploy.js. Hit enter. This is going to compile the contract, and this is the address we got it. Simply grab that one, come back to the context, and here we have to paste. So let me bring it up. This is the place where we have to replace the address. So simply it's the same address. So this is the contract address, and here we have the artifact, because when you will deploy the contract, it's going to compile your contract and it's going to generate the artifact of your contract, and here you will have the ABI of the contract. So again, I repeat this n number of times, so I will simply drag and drop here in the context, and we have the ABI of the contract. And now we are ready to test, we are ready to utilize this and test in our browser. So what I will do, I'll simply type clear, then I have to say npm run dev, and now I can able to create the. So what I will do is, right now you can see I have this account 9. So if you don't know how to import the hardhat account into your MetaMask, this is the exact step you have to follow. Simply grab the private key and copy that, come back in the browser, reload it, and you can see I'm already connected with the application. So let's click on the MetaMask, click change the network. So I'm going to the localhost. I can see right now account 1 has 0 ether, because this is my real wallet address. I have to switch to the other account. So these are the account addresses I have imported from hardhat. So that's why you can see I have that much ether. So once you use the hardhat accounts, you will have ether, and you can utilize those wallet ethers to test the contract. Looks pretty good. And reload the browser, things are looking pretty good to me. Now come here, and not here, click on this, come to import, and you can paste the private key here. Once you click on this import, it's going to import the wallet address, and you can see in my case I'm getting this error message that this account is particularly duplicated. So I have already imported this particular wallet address, that's why I cannot import the same address twice. But in your case it will happen fine. Okay, let's close this one, reload the browser, and if I come here, I have to simply remove all the history, because when you test your contract locally and when you switch your account from 1 to 2, it create couple of back history, the cache in your MetaMask, and that can cause the error of decline in the transaction. So make sure to clear the history. Reload the browser, looks pretty fine, and now it's created. So what I will do is come back here, I'm going to take this address, simply copy this address, come back to the account 2, and then clear the entire history, because recently we have switched it. And now we're going to create the first shipment, the tracking shipment. So click on this add, paste here, pick the date, and we have to provide the distance, and then we have to go for price. So I will go 0.4, click on create. It will open the MetaMask, and you can see that's the exact amount we are passing. Now click on confirm, and this will trigger your transaction. So you can see the transaction created and the status is pending. Now we have to check the status, check the data of the shipment. I have to simply pass the ID 0, and that's it. We have all the information about this particular shipment. Close this one, come back to the start shipment. So if I really want to start the shipment, I have to pass the address of the receiver. So that's the address we have to pass, and we have to pass the ID of the shipment, so we can start the shipment. So we can pass the address and we can pass the 0. It open up the MetaMask, confirm, and the transaction is confirmed, and you can see the status is changed in transmit, means the product is out for delivery. Now what I will do, I'll come here to the complete shipment. So once the user will receive the product, receive the shipments, he has to confirm the transaction, means a kind of the product is received. So here we have to provide his address, then we have to provide the 0 and make a request, confirm, and the product is delivered, the timestamp and the amount. So every single thing is working fine, you can see. And this is the exact step you have to follow. If you guys have encountered any error related to the CSS, you might have problem in your computer. So make sure to watch this video till the end. I'll show you that what problem you had because of that the CSS was not working. So I'll show you, just wait. So things are looking pretty good to me. Now you can find the balance of the user and the shipment he has created, everything here. Now let's come here. Now I'm going to stop the application from running, and let me stop the application, bring it down. Let's stop the application and remove one terminal. So things are looking good. We are finally test the entire project locally. It's absolutely fine. Now come back here in the hardhat config file, and here we have to do some important configuration because we have to upload the smart contract to the Polygon test network. And that's the configuration we have to do here. We have to tell the hardhat that this is the network we want to use. Many of you said that you want to deploy the contract to the mainnet or to the Solana, to the Polygon. So this is the configuration you have to do, and the exact step you have to follow, whether you are deploying the contract on the test network or you are deploying to the main network. This is the exact step you have to follow. So what I will do here, I'll simply come up here. I'm going to simply remove and paste. So I'm not going to type because I have explained this n number of times in the project. So make sure to follow that as well. So this is the exact piece of configuration you have to do. So we have this private key, we have this RPC URL, then we are defining the networks. So what I will do is come back here. Let's come back here. Now I'm going to switch my network to Polygon Mumbai. And again, I told in the previous video that how you can do the network configuration. I'll link that video in the I button in the description so you guys can follow that. I'm not going to do that because it will make a unnecessary repetitive content. So what I will do, come back here on my YouTube channel and make sure to watch this video. If you really want to know how to configure the network, how to connect the hardhat account to the MetaMask, that's all configuration I have explained in this 40 minutes video. So make sure to watch this and then you can continue watching this video. So make sure to follow this one. In this I have explained every single thing. Now what I will do is come back to my VS Code, and that's the configuration I have done here. Looks pretty good to me. What I will do, close this one and make sure to do the exact thing. Come back here. Now open up the terminal, and now we have to deploy the contract. So this is the command we have to type: npx hardhat run script network, and here we are deploying to the Polygon Mumbai, and this is the one you have to provide. Then it's compiled, and here we have the artifact. So what I will do, I will stop this deployment because I have old artifact and old cache which we were using in the localhost. So I'm going to delete this one. Let me clear the terminal. First delete this one, delete the cache, come back to the context, and we have to delete the ABI as well. Delete this one. Looks pretty good. We have deleted all of the things. Come back to the script, and this is the script we are deploying. Looks pretty fine. Now let's deploy that one. So let's bring it back. So this is the exact piece of command we have to write, and here you can see we have this artifact. Inside the artifact we have this ABI. Simply drag and drop into the context, and looks pretty good to me. Close this one, and here we got the address of our contract which is deployed on the Polygon Mumbai. Simply grab that one and come back to the context, and that's what we have to pass here. So earlier we used the address for the localhost, but now we are dealing with the test network on the Polygon. So simply replace the address, and that's the only thing you have to do. That's the only thing you have to do. Simply clear the terminal, and now let's start the application. Type npm run dev, and again it will start the application on the localhost, but we are using the test network, not our localhost network. If I click on the MetaMask, you can see right now we are connected with the Mumbai, and we have no data about the shipment. So click on this, and now we have to provide the address. So let's come here. Let's go to the MetaMask. I will come back to the account C. Sorry, 2. Copy that one. Come back here. Reload the browser. Click on this. Pass the address. Then we have to pick a date, distance, and the price. You can give any arbitrary number, but I would recommend you to give a less price to your transaction when you are doing on the test network, because you get a very less Metacoin for doing the transaction. So you don't need to waste the entire Metacoin for following a one particular transaction. Looks pretty fine here. I'll provide one. Click on create transaction, and this will take a little bit time. So right now we are dealing with the Mumbai test network. You can see that much Metacoin we are passing. Click on confirm, and this will take a little bit time. So let's close this one, and if I open the MetaMask, you can see the transaction is still happening. We are interacting with the transaction. So when we did the testing in the localhost, it went very quickly, but here it's taking a different time. So just wait, and it's happening. just a moment, and here the transaction went. And if I reload the browser, you can see we have no information here because we have to do the configuration. So if I do the inspect element, here you will find an error in the localhost. Error went getting shipment. So that's the configuration we have to do in all the data. So let's come back here, bring this down, come back to the context. So here we are into the context, tracking context, and here we have used this default RPC URL, which is to the local Ethereum, but we have to tell our function to use the like Polygon RPC URL. So I'm going to simply comment this one, and I'm going to simply paste this one. So copy and paste. And again, I have explained this extensively in that video. Make sure to watch it, that how you can get it and how you can do the configuration. I don't want to repeat the same thing. So that's the provider we have. Now let's come here. Here we have to do the changes, get shipment count, because again we get the data from the Polygon, so we have to provide the RPC URL here as well. So let's comment this one and paste here. So this is the one, and now we have to provide in the single one. So we don't need to do any changes here. We have to do the changes in the get shipment. So we have to simply comment here, and we have to pass here. So these are the three places you have to do the changes. And if I reload the browser, you can see here we got the data. So things are looking pretty fine. That's the exact configuration you want to do. If I open this one, in this you will have all the information. So here you can see the data of our shipment is displaying. Now you can simply make a transaction. It will take a little bit time, and now you can able to fetch the information about the shipment. So I'll pass 0, get details, and here you will have the entire detail about the shipments. Now let's start the shipment, pass the address. So what I will do, I'll simply do the inspect element. So let's do the inspect element. Come here, and here we have the data. Copy this receiver address, because that's what we have to pass here. Save it, paste here, remove this code, come here, remove this one, and pass the ID which is a 0, get detail, get shipment, sorry. And you can see here we have the data. Right now it's pending because the transaction is still happening. Just wait, the transaction will complete soon, and just a moment. And here the transaction completed. If you reload the browser, you will find that here you have the status. So in transmit means our function is working fine. Now let's complete the transaction. So we'll say pass the address, remove this double quote, and we have to pass the ID, change status, and confirm. And the transaction is still taking place. So what I will do right now, you can see, come here, and here the data is changed. So just word, the transaction is still in pending mode, and here the transaction completed. If you reload the browser, you can see here we have deliver, timestamp, and the price. So things are looking pretty fine to me. Things are looking pretty fine. So you can see the balance. This is the one shipment this particular user have created. Now looks pretty good to me. All of things are fine. We have no issues in the code. No issues in the code. So those of you are saying that the code is not working, the code is absolutely working. If anything's happening wrong in your code, in the project which you are running, you might have an issue in your computer, or you might have not installed any one of the packages which is required. So that looks pretty fine. Now what I will do is come back into the Tailwind CSS. So right now you can see this is the configuration we have to. So here we have this app, page, and components. So if I leave it like it, and I'll show you the error which I show you in the beginning. So right now I'm not going to do the configuration, because right now let me deploy that one, and I will show you that when you will deploy the same piece of code on internet, it's going to create a problem in the CSS configuration. So let's do one thing. Let's stop the application from running and say git init. I'm going to first deploy the entire project to GitHub, and I'm going to use Vercel, making our website live. Okay, we'll say git add, and copy this one, paste here, copy this one, paste here. Then we have to get the branch, paste here, and come here, copy this one, and paste here, push. And as I've already do it twice, as I have already done it, that's why you can see it not happening. But I'll come here, reload the browser, and here you will find all the code which we have. We have the entire code, looks fine, and you can see this is the command we have to run. Come back here, type Vercel, and I have already created my account, so you can make sure to create your own account. Click on the project, and here you will find all the project. So make sure to create your account on GitHub and connect your account to Vercel, which is a very easy. I have already done it many times. I have already done it, and I already made a couple of tutorials in the past, so make sure to follow the old videos, and that I have explained everything. So I'm going to pick the repository. So this is the repository I have created, test supply, and that's what I'm going to import. Click on import, and all you have to do is click on this deploy. That's the only thing you have to do. So just wait, the deployment is happening and it will take a little bit time, like it will take 1 minute to deploy your entire application. So just a moment, it will happen very soon. So it will take in 15, 16, 7, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29 and finally it's happening, running. Just a moment, and here you can see our application is live, but we have an issue in the project. So if I click on that, you can see the CSS is not working, and this is the exact problem one of you guys have shared with me in the email. So this is the exact problem. The CSS is not working, but the application functionality is working absolutely fine, and I'll tell you how you can fix that one. That's a very easy. So come back here. If I come back to the Tailwind CSS configuration, and here you can see, here we have used this component. So we have said that we need to use this CSS, Tailwind CSS, in the app.js file, in the pages folder, and in the component folder. But here the component started with small c, but here we have started with a capital C, and that's the problem we have, and that's the change we have to do here. Instead of small c, we have to say capital C, and that will fix the issue. So sometimes you have to use your brain, sometimes you have to debug the problem which you are facing. If the code is not working, it's a great opportunity for you to find out that why it's not working. Everything's working in the tutorial, but why in my end, why it's not working? So when you will do those research, it will open up your ideas, you will open up your mind and thinking capability to work on the project, and that's how you develop your problem solving skills. Let's find, this is the change I have to do. Here you can see capital C, and this is small c. So what I will do is come back here in the GitHub repository. So this is the repository we have, and I will come back here in Tailwind configuration, and here I have to do is, so I have already deployed this one, so I can do it here, and if you haven't deployed that, you can do it in your VS Code, and that will fix the issue as well if you guys have encountered that one. And here I have to do the changes. So we will click on this edit, make it capital C, and that will fix the issue. Simply commit that, and looks pretty fine. Save it and reload the browse couple of times. This will take a little bit time. So when you will do the changes in the GitHub repo, it will take 1 to 2 minutes to take the changes place in the applications, and I waited for 2 minutes and finally it's happened. So if I reload the browser, come here, reload the browser, you can see it's happening, and here my Tailwind CSS is working fine, and the application is deployed on this particular application. If you click on that, let me connect my wallet, and here I connected. I can create that one, so I can come here, simply copy. So copy that address, come here and simply paste the address, pick the date, pick the distance, and you can give the price. So I can say create shipment, click on shipment and confirm. Looks pretty fine. It's pending, and the transaction will complete very soon, and the transaction went through. You can see we have no issues in our code. So the only thing you have to do, if your CSS is not working, make it capital. You might have noticed one thing, that when I testing this code locally in my local system, without giving this capital C, the CSS is working absolutely fine. We can easily able to use the Tailwind CSS in the project. But when we are deploying the same piece of code on internet, so other can access that one, in that context, the CSS is not working fine. So it was really mind-boggling for me for a time being, because when I did for the very first time, I was a little confused at what went wrong in the code. So I did a little bit Google search, then I see the components, and here I found the components. Then I did the random change, and I found that this is the problem I had, and because of that, the CSS was not working. So sometimes you have to spend a little bit time. It's not about getting project ready very quickly. Sometimes you have to spend 1-2 days and try to figure out the solution from your end. If you still have any problem related to the CSS, make sure to make this capital C, and that will work fine in your local system and in the default server as well. So that looks pretty good to me, and we all are good. So make sure to use the exact version we have used in this project, and I'll say npm version. So make sure to install the npm in your computer, because many of you don't have npm and you try to run that project and you encounter that. So I seen that when you are following the complete 2 hours long project, some of you started working on the project straight away, and you are saying that my npm is not working, my node is not working, because you don't have that in your computer. So try to install first and try to do the configuration, which again I have explained n number of time in my previous videos. So make sure to follow those videos, the project videos, in that I have explained. This is the npm version I'm using, this is the node version I'm using. That's looking pretty fine. So I really don't have any issues and every single thing is fine. So I hope you guys have understood that what problem you have in your code and how you can figure it out if your CSS is not working. So I would always encourage you to spend some time with the project. Don't simply try to build the project faster, because that's not your goal. You are here to learn, to enhance your skills, to know what is there in the code and how you can debug. Because when you will work on an actual project, there you will not get any straight path. You have to figure it out the problem and you have to come up with a solution as well. So hope you guys have got the idea that what are the things you have to do and how you can tackle this particular issue if you guys are encountering. So I can see that very few people have got this error, and many of you have able to figure it out on your own about this particular bug when you are deploying. So that's the only thing I want to talk about in this video. Hope you guys have found this video valuable. If you still have any confusion and doubt, do let me know in the comment section. I definitely try to help you in that. Have a wonderful